Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may we recognize our distinguished Senate President, Vicente Soto III, to sponsor the measure, Mr. President.
The Senate President, Senator Vicente Tito Soto III, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Majority Leader, thank you. My esteemed colleagues, there are a lot of impressions, or should I say, misconceptions that people have about lawyers, whether these were caused by television shows, movies, or sometimes first-hand experiences. There are some negative opinions about them. I'm reminded of a story of a man who was happened upon a tombstone that read, "Here lies John Smith, a good man and a lawyer." The man read it and asked, "When did they start putting two people in one grave?" However, Mr. President, this was not and had never been the case for Father Joaquin Bernas. He had a strong sense of morals and ethics. He was humble. He was calm. He exuded authority, even in his silence. How could someone so endearing, because of his gentleness and kind and empowering words, can be conceived as unkind? Surely not Father Bernas. Father Joaquin Bernas was a Jesuit priest, a doctor of juridical science, lawyer, professor, writer, columnist, and author. He was a lawyer first before he became a priest. He had a passion for learning as he devoted his time and effort in advancing his knowledge and understanding of the law and other disciplines. Father Bernas obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree in English, Latin, and Greek classics, and Masters of Arts degree in English, in philosophy, from the Birchman's College in 1956 and 1957, respectively. Bachelor of Laws degree from the Ateneo de Manila Law School in 1962, and placed 9th in the bar examinations given that year. Licentiate of Sacred Theology from Woodstock College in 1966, and Master of Laws and Doctor of Juridical Science from New York University in 1965 and 1968, respectively. He was never selfish. All of the knowledge he acquired from those revered institutions he willingly and openly shared, not only to his students and his community, but to the entire nation by being a member of the Constitutional Commission that drafted the 1987 Constitution. But his impartment of his expertise did not stop from his membership in the Constitutional Commission. In fact, it intensified after that. A bar top-notcher and a known constitutionalist, he authored and published several books and articles dealing with the Constitution, such as The Intent of the 1986 Constitution Writers. That was in 1995. And then the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, a commentary in 1996. Constitutional Structure and Powers of Government, Notes and Cases, 1997. Constitutional Rights and Social Demands, Notes and Cases, 2004, among others. Father Bernas' commentary and comprehensive reviewer on constitutional law are must-haves for any law student and lawyer alike, Atenean or not. As an amicus curiae, or a friend of the court, Father Bernas' views and arguments on some important cases of national significance and interests were usually sought, but by no less than the Supreme Court, particularly on the Asia-Pacific Conference on the East Timor in the Philippines, the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997, the impeachment case against Chief Justice Hilario G. Davide Jr., the oral arguments in the FPJ citizenship case, where I distinctly and I was given the honor of Father Bernas with a very lengthy private talk that we had. He was a dear friend, and he understood where FPJ and I were coming from. That was in 2004. Also, the oral arguments in the Memorandum of Agreement on Ancestral Domain, or the MOAAD. In all these cases, Mr. President, he had consistently persuaded the court, orally or in writing, with clear objectivity based on the fundamental principles of justice and humanity, but humbly reminding his colleagues and followers that when it comes to the interpretation of the 1987 Constitution, the Supreme Court always had the final say, and that was a quote from him. Sui generis, legendary, and non-parallel. These are how the people who have worked with him and those who were under his wings had to say about Father Joaquin Bernas. Truly, he was all that and more. He was a great servant of the church and the law who had always responded to the call of legal and moral duty to protect democracy and human rights, unmindful of his own physical well-being, and whose unblemished devotion and faith in God and the rule of law had helped rebuild the country through his teachings, writings, and leadership. His death is a great loss, not only to his Atenean family and to the legal profession, but to the Filipino people and the nation as well. We salute you, Father Bernas, for a life of service and devotion to God, the rule of law, and your countrymen. And thus I seek the support of my dear colleagues for the adoption of PS Resolution 674, taking into consideration PS Resolution number 675, resolution authored by Senator Richard Gordon. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, the Senate President.